Cotton Bowl 2017, T Barrett's farewell was a win, but not a statement. Bill Livingston. Texans only believe their own legends, it has been said, but it is Ohio State fans as much as anyone else who doubt native Texan and veteran Buckeyes quarterback T Barrett. Ohio State fans' ambivalence toward their quarterback made for a strange homecoming week for the fifth-year player, who grew up in Wichita Falls, near the Red River border with Oklahoma. It is no farther from the Dallas Cowboys stadium where the Cotton Bowl was played than Cleveland is from the Horseshoe. In his 50th game at Ohio State on Friday night against Southern California, Barrett, a fifth-year player, won the Bowl's Most Valuable Offensive Player award and still silenced few doubters. He also added 2 more Big Ten records, most touchdowns responsible for in a season and most career total yards. The personal highlights of Barrett's final game were his 2 touchdown runs, a 1-yard gouge and a 28-yarder off a fake jet sweep to Paris Campbell. The defense bent, but didn't break. But Ohio State's front 4 won this game, 24-7. The Buckeyes took a 24-0 lead, then did little but thwart Trojan drives and punt the rest of the game. 3 USC red zone penetrations resulted in no points. It was the Big Ten championship game against Wisconsin all over again, only with compounded futility. Ohio State didn't score in the final 35 minutes and had only 94 yards of offense after halftime. Redshirt sophomore Sam Darnold, the heralded USC quarterback who is a prospective first-round NFL draft pick should he come out of school, threw one immensely costly interception to Ohio State safety and defensive MVP Damon Webb, who was open. Webb returned it for a 23-yard touchdown. Darnold's error was so huge that he showed every earmark of a future quarterback for the Cleveland Browns, who hold the first pick in the 2018 NFL Draft. Darnold also lost 2 fumbles. His 356 yards passing were impressive in their scope, but empty in their effect because of the turnovers. Yet he is good enough to make USC Sammy one-note offense work. The Trojans rushed for only 57 yards, averaging only 1.6 yards per attempt. For his part, Barrett's body of work has grown with almost geological inevitability, like a stubborn stalagmite, rising irresistibly from a slippery floor, after he was rushed into the lineup as injured Braxton Miller's replacement, to unrivaled heights achieved through the long passage of time and the steady accretion of substance. Yet on Twitter, Barrett recently vowed to embrace the hate. It might not be hate as much as a JT jaundice, in the form of disillusionment with a player who, despite his experience, has not been able to play in some of the biggest games and has not been consistent in other marquee matchups, denying him credit he would otherwise be due. It would have been fitting for Barrett's valedictory to be measured on the scale of his sprawling home state. But only rarely was Barrett an outsized force. Penn State this year, Michigan State in 2014. Otherwise, it was his undiscouraged heart that earned respect. He scored each of Ohio State's touchdowns in double overtime at Penn State while playing on a sprained knee. Coach Urban Meyer speaks of Barrett gutting it out in the Big Ten championship game 6 days after arthroscopic knee surgery, sustaining his grit for season after season, long after the surprising glory of 2014 had faded. Mixed in, though, were 2 Michigan victories in which he was winded and forced out of the games, shortfalls against Oklahoma this year, Clemson last year, Michigan State the year before that, and the apocalypse at Iowa this November. He's not a minus yardage player. Things are not going to be perfect. Put your foot in the ground and get positive yardage, Meyer said, effectively casting Barrett as a game manager and not an overwhelming talent.